Welcome back to Arise Prime Time, where we offer perspectives on the news and talking points of the day. I'm Charles Anyagolu. So, as you might have heard, the biggest U.S. airbase in the Middle East has come under attack from Iranian missiles. President Trump has been in the Situation Room with the Secretary of Defense and the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Iran says it is targeting the American Al Udeid airbase. It says the action does not pose a threat to Qatar, but Qatar says the Iranian attack is a flagrant violation of its sovereignty. Both Qatar and the United Arab Emirates have shut down their airspaces, with planes diverting away from Doha and Dubai. It's a fast developing situation that's come about after President Trump ordered attacks on 3 Iranian nuclear sites at the weekend. Well, as the world assesses what the U.S. Commander-in-Chief commanded American forces to do 2 days ago and tonight's Iranian retaliation, I'm joined now on the line from Washington by Ambassador Earl Anthony Wayne, who served as a U.S. diplomat from 1975 to 2015 and was Assistant Secretary of State under 3 U.S. Secretaries of State. Ambassador, thank you very much indeed for joining us. So first of all, your reaction to this latest development, an Iranian attack on the U.S. airbase in Qatar. I would imagine that the sight of Iranian missiles exploding over the night sky in Qatar signals a dangerous new chapter in this war.
Well, it certainly signals the unpredictability of this conflict and the ability of it to spread to various areas of the region. It shows that the United States has gotten the attention of Iran, and that Iran is trying to strike back to show that it has might to make its weight be felt. Now, we don't yet know exactly what will come of all this. As far as we know, there have not yet been additional talks between the United States and Iran. We know the United States said that it had conducted these 3 attacks on Iranian nuclear sites as a clear sign of its unhappiness with the fact that Iran was still developing nuclear weapons. Where this goes from this point on, we're not really sure. But I think that there are reports of alerts of a number of U.S. bases across the Middle East, and we will just have to see what direction this moves next.
Indeed, and as you hinted there, the way Donald Trump and his leading officials respond to it makes this a crucial moment about whether this conflict spirals into something larger, wider, and more protracted. In the past few minutes, the U.S. Department of Defense has said there were no casualties. Is that likely to stay the hand of the administration, or will Donald Trump make good on his promise that if Iran retaliates, they'd be held to pay? Will his finger be on the trigger?
Well, I think he would rather have us not have to get into a retaliatory back and forth. We'll just have to see how much damage is actually done, if there are actual casualties in this. What I've seen of the reports of the missile attack in Qatar is that it was not on the base. It didn't actually hit the base. There are no reports of damages yet. So that may allow this to play out a bit longer. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see if Iran launches attacks in other directions at other bases. I think from the U.S. position, they would like to now have Iran say, okay, let's have talks. Let's talk about where we go from here. From the Iranian point of view, it appears that Iran needs to show that it is strong, that it has the ability to respond, and then maybe we can see where things go. But I think right now the best next step I would hope that we can see is some indication that the 2 sides will actually talk with each other again.
Indeed, that would be the best outcome for many people around the world. Nevertheless, from an American point of view, the president that promised no wars, now a so-called reluctant warrior. What do you think of the U.S. military action on Iran's nuclear facilities? I mean, are you in shock, like many people are, that what consecutive U.S. administrations have been grappling with for years, including the ones that you were part of as Assistant Secretary of State, has finally been done by President Trump?
Well, I will say that I was surprised that he went ahead and attacked these three different military facilities. That is a much more aggressive stance than the United States has taken in the past. What he does with that and what comes next, I think, will be important. And we're not yet clear what his plans are for following up on this. I think there's a lot of attention focused on it around the region and in the United States. And I think that the real desire would be that there be a way found to have serious talks about this situation. Now, the United States attacks have caused significant damage to Iranian nuclear facilities in Iran. We'll have to deal with that. We don't really know what the pressures are on the Iranian regime to show that it is vigorous in its response and its defense. The United States has said we were attacking these Iranian military facilities. We don't want to have a further dispute with Iran, disagreement, but we'll have to see what happens next.
And of course, the Americans said they were originally trying to achieve with this strike. I mean, their goal was to prevent Iran acquiring nuclear weapons. But Israel's primary goal appears to extend beyond that, doesn't it?
Well, it's not exactly clear what Israel's primary goal was in this situation. There have been a number of attacks, not only against nuclear facilities, but against other facilities inside Iran. People are on alert for attacks against U.S. facilities, not only in Qatar that have been attacked, but elsewhere around the region. And personally, I don't think it's a wonderful thing to do to have a number of uncoordinated military attacks taking place across the region, but we'll just have to see exactly where this takes both countries. I think right now there's a space, maybe there's a space to have a discussion and try to bring people together. But it's not clear to me exactly where this will go, because by responding vigorously, Iran has also raised the bar a bit for Israel and others. And the United States now, how are they going to respond to this? And I think we'll just have to see exactly where this goes. We're at a delicate point. It would be much better if there was a dialogue, a serious dialogue between the countries that have been fighting here. But we're not sure when that might take place.
Right. And I think that you're right in saying that this is clearly a very fragile moment. But I mean, I wonder what the mood is amongst the American public. I mean, when the Trump administration points to Iran and says that Tehran is the aggressor here, is that washing with the American public? Has Iran been seen as definitely escalating things in recent weeks, or you don't think that resonates with most Americans?
Well, I think it will have a resonation. It will resonate with Americans because of the long history of Iran. Whether or not they're ready to go into a fight with Iran is a different question, and especially when Iran has not attacked the United States. And so I think that's the question. It's not whether or not Iran is a good government or a government that we can like. Is Iran aiming to harm the United States, and does that justify what we're doing right now? There's also the question of working in support of Israel. A number of people support that in the United States. There are others who don't think that's the right thing to do. So it's not that there's a unified position in the United States. If some of the polls that were taken showed a clear minority position in favor of additional support of these attacks on Iran. We'll have to see where things go. As you know, once hostilities start between two countries, you tend to mobilize a lot of people on both sides. But the real point, it seems to me, is to save lives, to bring about wise solutions. And let's just hope that people can start sitting down and bringing the real issues to a place where they can be addressed.
Indeed, and that's a good place to end. As you said there, let's hope that all roads lead to the negotiating table. Ambassador Earl Anthony Wayne, I want to thank you very much indeed. He served as U.S. diplomat from 1975 to 2015 and was Assistant Secretary of State under 3 U.S. Secretaries of State, and he was talking to me on the line from Washington. Thank you very much indeed. And that's it for this edition of Arise Primetime. Join us again tomorrow. From me and the entire team here in Abuja and Washington, bye-bye and thank you for watching.